All right, moving over to the light heavyweight division now. We got Mingyang Zhang coming in at minus 250 going up against Alonzo Menifield, who comes in at plus 210. Now, starting off on the Mingyang side of things here, he had his winning streak snapped last time around as he got finished by Johnny Walker in the second round. Now, that was a weird fight, right? Johnny Walker comes in, or at least was teasing leading up to the fight that he's going to go out there and wrestle, and he shot right away. Unfortunately, he had the position reversed, and Mingyang was able to just muster up some decent top control for about 2 minutes, and then when they got back to their feet, Johnny Walker stayed in perpetual lateral motion so that he couldn't get hit cleanly by Zhang. That allowed Walker to just chip away at him from distance. And then in the second round, he started unleashing a few calf kicks. And within the first one or two that landed, it was clear that it really compromised the approach of Zhang, allowing Walker to just land a few more and finish Zhang with kicks. It was very impressive to see Walker make that in-fight adjustment and actually get the finish here over a guy that has done nothing but gone out there and finished opponents quickly. All 19 of his wins are in the first round. 4 of his 26 fights have hit round 2, with only one of them reaching the scorecards. And that's kind of the issue in his game, that he can't win, or at least he has not won a fight that's gotten out of the first round. He comes in with a lot of big power, a lot of big heat, looking to finish his opponents pretty quickly. The issue that I have with him is that, the guys that he's finished, Tuco Togos, Brenson Ribeiro, Ozzy Diaz, Anthony Smith, guys that you can easily put away. Even Johnny Walker, he should have been able to pull away, but luckily for Walker, the fight played out the way that he did so that he can get to the second round, and then he was able to find that opening to finally get Zhang out of there. Zhang fights on a very narrow basis, right? Either he finds that knockout and he gets the win, or he doesn't and things start to go haywire for him pretty quickly. He doesn't really make any bones about his game either. This guy wants to go out there, take your head off. That's really about it. And he throws with a lot of reckless intent, which will get him clipped by sharper strikers and guys that can actually eat that first punch or two before they're able to land the big power of their own and possibly cause Zhang issues that way as well. So I'm hoping that maybe that loss to Walker forces Zhang to kind of evolve his game a little bit more. I'm not counting on it until we actually see it inside the cage, but training over there, Extreme Couture, that's something that's going to have to help him out big time, trying to round out his game, try not to just be that first round knockout puncher, but maybe they're able to implement something in his game that makes him be a more effective first round knockout specialist. So we'll see what he can do off of his first UFC loss. Now, he's going up against Alonzo Menifield, who is 2-3 over his last 5 fights last time around, coming up short against Volkan Oezdemir in a very weird fight. That was one where he allowed Oezdemir to kind of dictate the pace right off the bat, constantly moving backwards, not throwing much offense, and then he put himself in a position to allow Volkan Oezdemir to unload with big shots, and he relied heavily on head movement to try to get away from those strikes, but he just stayed planted way too long, allowed Oezdemir to let one big shot creep through, and that was enough to start the finishing sequence there for Oezdemir. So hopefully that was a big learning experience for Menifield, who has often put himself into some compromising positions. And he's had the ability to go out there and beat dangerous guys like Umar Sy, the way that he was able to pull off the upset that night. But the Carlos Ulberg fight, he came in with a horrible game plan, got knocked out immediately. We know Azamat Murzakanov has gone out there and made a career out of just starching guys right away. And then the Volkan Oezdemir fight was just sheer horrible fight IQ from Alonzo Menifield. But when his chin has held up, when he's gone out there and actually performed to the ability that he's capable of performing at, it's possible that he can actually go out there and get wins. Now, he's known for his knockout power. He can really grind guys out in the clinch. He's very strong in those positions. He has great takedown defense, so it's very hard for opponents to take him down. And then he knows how to win minutes, which is very important, especially at the light heavyweight division, when he's often facing guys that are going out there and looking to just take his head off and hope for that to be the reason that they end up winning. Now, I get why Zhang is a minus 250 favorite in this spot, right? Especially when you see the Volkan Oezdemir fight, you're expecting Zhang to go out there and replicate what Oezdemir did. But I'm curious to see, with Menifield knowing exactly what Zhang's going to be looking to do here, how he tries to avoid that. Whether it's cracking back with big power of his own, maybe trying to take advantage of the poor striking defense to the legs that Zhang showcased last time around against Johnny Walker, or maybe to look to initiate the clinch almost immediately and try to find success that way. Those are the big questions that I have here. But the one thing that I constantly find myself coming back to is the experience of Menifield. You know, going up against a guy, in my opinion, Zhang, who still needs to prove himself at the UFC level, there's no way I would pay minus 250 on him, right? If Menifield comes in with a good enough game plan to avoid that early knockout power of Zhang, Menifield should be able to start cruising in deeper water here. So at plus 210, it's so hard not to take Menifield here. I know I will get flamed for this pick. I know a lot of people are going to go out there and pick Zhang right off the bat, but I got to take my chances on Menifield here. There's no way you can tell me that Menifield's not worth it at minus 210. Again, the experience, the power that he has on his own, his athleticism as well. If he's just a little bit more defensively responsible early and doesn't allow Zhang to just bang on him right off the bat, he is very capable of winning this fight. Again, it's more than possible that Zhang can go out there and find a big shot to put him out quickly. That's why the odds are the way that it is. But I would not trust Zhang at minus 250. I would rather take the under 1.5 or take Zhang round 1. That's how he's won every single one of his fights. So if you want a better number than minus 250, go ahead. Take that. But I'm going to go with the experience here. I'm going to go with the veteran to go out there and stump the somewhat youngster, the somewhat newer UFC guy, the guy that's gone out there and just made short work of a lot of his opponents. I'm hoping Menifield comes in with a better game plan. You know, with Saif Saud and those guys in his corner, they got to know what to expect from Zhang here, and I'm going to have to go with Menifield, and I believe he's able to counter the power of Zhang, and I think he knocks Zhang out. Give me Menifield by knockout.